Today, let's remember the impact of African people in the Revolutionary War. I'm going to recap a little bit of stuff that you might already know, but I'm going to definitely teach you something you don't know. Hopefully, you already know about Crispus Attucks. He was a escaped free African who was actually coming from African and Native American ancestry. He was the first person to be killed in the Boston Massacre, which a lot of people look at as the first conflict in the American Revolution. You might also remember from school how the British promised freedom and thousands of us joined the British in hopes of our freedom and winning the war. But did you know about a man named Comino Dali? Comino Quash, or Captain Dali, actually led the British through the swamps to take over Savannah. Even though the British had way more soldiers in Savannah than the Americans did, they couldn't get into the fort. They had to rely on the African man, Comino Dali, to actually tell them about the land and how to get through the swamps and around the fort into an unguarded entrance. Once the English used the knowledge of Captain Dali to take over Savannah, they never lost control of Savannah until the end of the Revolutionary War. And the British control of Savannah led to a lot of different developments for Africans on this side of the Atlantic. Firstly, that next year in 1779, the Americans tried to take over Savannah again, and they got help from the French. And of course, the French got help from their African people in the colonies. As you can see here, volunteer soldiers from places like Haiti and other French colonies came to Savannah to try and help take it back over. They wasn't successful, and what's crazy, a lot of these people who were soldiers had volunteered. They was born free, but they was captured in America by the British and sold into slavery. Beyond the French having to bring the largest unit of black soldiers into the war, the English control of Savannah also led to larger numbers of Maroon communities on the Savannah River. It had already been plenty of Maroons, and if you don't know what a Maroon is, that's somebody who had escaped slavery, went into the swamps away from the plantation, and they started their own communities. Because the English had took over from the Americans, a lot of people left the plantations, and they was able to live on their own and be independent. Of course, once the war was over, the British broke their promise to a lot of those thousands of us who fought for them and tried to get our freedom and left us back here in America to either go back to slavery or maybe join one of those Maroon societies on one of the rivers. But also, a lot of us were sent to places like the Caribbean, Nova Scotia, and then Sierra Leone. And the crazy thing about Sierra Leone, if you think about it, it's possible that in one bloodline, one family, somebody could have been kidnapped from Sierra Leone, enslaved in the United States, and then fought for the British just to be sent back to Sierra Leone.